Surprise, I'm live on NIPISSING once again. Don't know how long this is gonna last. Hopefully the lake agrees. Just gonna troll around a little bit. I'm on my canoe right now. I see 0 people have tuned in. Guess that's what happens when you rock a surprise, eh? So, I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see other stuff. Aside from me. There we go. Little shot of the canoe. Got a bobber rod set up there, but that's not what I'm using at the moment. I will be using what do I got on there? It's a large purple flicker shad. Caught a half decent pike with my son a couple days ago. It is actually one of my favorites for pulling around out here. So got it out. It was actually still on my rod, and that's why it's on there right now. So I got the mic set up. I have myself a trolling motor, but I'm not using it today. The battery is a bit of a pain in the ass to carry out. What's going on, Canadian Vapor? Welcome to the party. Yeah, it's been quiet. It's been quiet waiting for this opener and waiting for a chance to get out on the lake. And here I am. I've been out a few times, mind you. Did some shore casting. Did some trolling in the canoe with the boy. Yeah, you know, it was glass flat out here up until about 5 minutes ago. And knowing this lake, you know, you never know what's gonna happen. So we'll see how long this live stream can actually go for. We got an east wind. Funny thing is, the weather guys are always like, they're like, the wind will be hard from the west. And then you look out and you're like, that's not from the west. I swear they're not even really paying attention to what's going on out here. But I've got some southeast waves coming in, very slight. Nothing I'm too spooked about. Just got to make sure I don't drift too far. I was drifting around quite a bit there. So I've been marking fish at about, what's going on here? Weird. I was marking fish at about 10 feet. Starting with a troller. The lure I got on goes down about 12. There we go. About 12 feet. This is the time of year where you're going to be seeing some fish in very shallow as the sun goes down. At this point, it seems like 10 feet's where I'm seeing them on my radar. So I'm just going to sort of find a good spot to try my depth at, where I'm seeing fish and some structure. I'm going to troll past it and then take advantage of this wind here. The wind will blow me, hopefully, in a nice drifting pattern. Looks like we got some waves here. My fellow fishermen driving their boat out. Well, so far so good. Give you guys the view of the fishing rod here. You can see you got my outrigger lined up. If a fish hits, obviously the rod's gonna go back. like I said, we'll see. The lake has been glass flat up to this point, and now it's a little wild. So, you know, when I say wild, I mean it's wilding up. It's not necessarily wild yet, because this lake can sure get wild. So I'm marking some fish at 12 feet. You can see those are my lucky fish, because that's right where my lure trolls down to. We're in about 17 feet of water right now. So I've made a few trips to a few small trout lakes over the last while, and I can tell you that the fish weren't biting anywhere, or at least in the places I went. I didn't go for too many like super hard to reach places because I had my son with me. We hit a few lakes on the McConnell Lake area. Whoops, sorry about that. And hit a few lakes on the, well, in the Red Bridge area. This breeze here is actually pretty decent. It's a little trickier to pilot the canoe on your own. I'm used to doing it with my wife. Not that tricky enough. So I'm gonna turn, you guys get a view of the islands here. So there's also my GoPro sort of in the way. Got the Manitous out that way. I've been seeing some pictures of dudes catching all sorts of fish. Whoops. In different places. Oops. So it sounds like somebody's putting on some Estelle and singing. It's cool. Don't know if you guys can hear any of that. This is quite a little cross breeze going here. I think what I'm gonna do next, once I get to a good spot here, I'm gonna fire on the bobber and a worm, maybe a flashy jig head, and just really do some hardcore drifting here. We're in about 17 feet of water. Me moving, it's making this audio wonky, so I'm just moving the microphone, different spot. Yeah, David, it is nice out here, that is for certain. There's been a few days when it's been really nice in the morning and I don't get a chance to go out, and then it's like hell by the afternoon. But right now, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So I got some waves to rock here. So a lot of times when people use their canoe for fishing and they're in it alone, I've heard directions to use the front seat as though it's the back seat, is what I'm doing right now. Works pretty good, because if you just sit in the back seat, then the balance gets thrown off, that's for sure. Some waves. Well, for any of you guys who are watching this after the fact, you know, I'm hoping the audio's turning out pretty good. I'm getting some of that outdoor audio vibe, to including waves and other people's boats. It's part of the charm. It's been a helicopter buzzing around all day. I mean, I guess we are in a flight path here, to be expected. Looks like one of those double blade jobs. It was pretty neat. The other day I was fishing with my wife and my son kept wanting to like mess around with my rod and its rod holder, right? Including pulling it out. And you know, I've seen him throw a few things in the lake, and so it's sort of everything requires direct supervision. So he was messing with my rod, and then all of a sudden I feel the weight of a fish on it. Like, there's a fish on there. You know, I swear his, like, just trying to jostle the rod around is what got that pike to bite. Anyway, I started reeling it in, and, you know, and just started reeling with me. It was pretty nifty. There was no, like, prompting. He just grabbed the reel and started going. And we got that pike in. Of course, it was tough. Like, I ended up throwing the pike back, but it was tough to get a picture of Owen with the fish, because he just wanted to look at the fish instead of stand there and look at the camera with the fish behind him, you know? So it was a little challenging, but I did get some pictures. If anybody has me on Instagram, I think I posted one pic there. So yeah, I didn't really think about doing this live video until I think I was just getting my canoe ready to go, and I was like, well, what about if I just started filming? So here we are. Be nice if I caught a fish. I don't know if I'm quite at the right hour, but I'm here when I'm here. Fishing when I can fish. Marking some fish at 8 feet. I remember one year, my brother and I, in this very canoe, went trolling right along the shore here in 5 to 8 feet of water. And it was just fish after fish on the little, you know, the long original Rapellas. You seemed to be hungry for those that night, let me tell you. think I'm gonna try the old worm technique. You know, I'm gonna use a bobber. Not a lot of people, you know, some people frown on bobbers, saying they're like little kids things. But I'm like, whatever. Whatever, bobbers are fun. Bobbers are fun for everyone. Once I get in line with this one dude's house, it's funny when you know an area and you just sort of canoe around it and start to mark off fishing spots by people's houses, your neighbors, you know. Like, okay, in front of this guy's house, that's where this weed bed starts, you know, and then in front of this other dude's house, there's like a little mound. Just gonna give you guys a view of the rod again here. I guess that's, when I have it facing forward, it's because I'm reading, seeing if there's any text being written. In front of this dude's house, pull in a little bit, that bobber rig, and just sort of take it easy. I'll turn the boat so we're sort of facing out into the lake, and we'll just drift and chat. Or if nobody's chatting, I'll just babble on. So I'm sure somewhere, somebody later on this week going to be firing up this live stream, sitting in their basement and drinking a beer, a whole beer. So just going to make sure I record enough to make it worthwhile. So I've seen a few pictures of people with white bass on NIPISSING. I've caught one here ever, but I know there's different fish in different parts of the lake, and my part of the lake doesn't seem to be the place for that kind of fish. But a dude on one of the North Bay fishing boards, the North Bay Fishing Club, pardon me, a dude said he was catching some off of Calendar Bay Dock. So that's pretty cool. And I'm definitely marking at 10 feet. Good couple of fish. No crazy amounts of fish, but there's definitely fish on my radar. So I'm going to overshoot this spot, which is in front of my buddy's house over there, just so I can get my other rig ready to go as I start to drift. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna catch some fish at 5 or 10 feet. And we'll go from there. We'll hope to catch some at that depth. I might need to take a serious look at the bobber rig I'm planning on setting down. It might be a little heavy duty, or it might be extremely appropriate. Somebody talking to me? I don't know. Good question. So yeah, David Bennett, welcome to the party. All right, so we're in about 15 feet of water here. I know riding a canoe is sort of the slow way of doing things, but I like it. So anyone else would be like, I would have ripped on my boat all the way up to your spot here. Okay, so we're going in. All right, so that's my, show you that, got that lure. This one seems to work real well on NIPISSING for me. It's a flicker shad. This one must be lucky because it's missing the eye on it. So it's a large flicker shad. One of my faves are trolling around. All right. So my polarized glasses are a little bit difficult for me to read the screen at the moment. So if I'm missing anybody's messages, I apologize. We're gonna put down a worm rig. Let's see. Let me see what I can do here. All right, once I get this bobber rig on there, a minute to take it easy. Just gonna put that light back on me since I'm not paddling. Check to see how this works. I put together this crazy ass bobber rig. It's got a big bobber and a heavy weight, and my idea originally was to fish for lake trout in extremely deep water with a bobber. I'm not sure why I had that plan. I don't even think I even tried it out. But I like coming up with different strategies of trying to catch fish. Or maybe in my case, it's more like not catch fish. Different strategies to make fishing more difficult for myself. Okay. So, moving at a pretty good pace here. Just setting my bobber depth here. I don't know how much of this you can see. So yeah, I got a jig head at the bottom there. Gonna put a worm on there, and I got a 3/4 ounce weight on there. This might also be useful for casting. Anyway, it's a big bobber, not like crazy big, big enough, I suppose. And the idea here is that there's enough weight on it to make it sink or make it light enough on the bite. So I'm not sure where I got my crawlers tonight, but I'm gonna say that it was most likely Trapper Joe's. I'm pretty sure that's where I got them. I feel like I've been sitting on this box of crawlers for a couple of weeks, you know. All right, so we're marking fish. Gonna drop my bobber jig rig. And now I'll have a chance to read a few messages. I gotta keep this bar real close to the boat. Oh, I just pulled something. Okay, so there's the bobber right there. All right, so I'm just gonna check these messages here. You know, I don't have any minnows, Dave. I've got salted minnows. Yeah, sorry. It is totally hard to read the comments here. It's mostly these polarized glasses I'm wearing. Maybe it's a combination of a lot of sunshine too. You know, I wonder if I've got plastic minnows. Let me check what I got in the box here. I got some swim baits that are pretty big, but that might not be. Like, I got a juicy crawler on there right now. Okay, I'm just checking out my box. Somehow I've got these like massive swim baits. I'm not sure what I was planning on catching. I think I have read some sweet articles about using massive swim baits for wallies. I don't know if I've ever tried it myself. Let's see what we got. Looks like I need to clean out my tackle box here. I've got some large grubs, smoke with sprinkles. We also got some Slurpees. Looks like I bought these like 20 years ago. They still smell wild though. I believe it's a star anise smell. Just checking out what else I got in here. Got a big tube. These guys are sometimes fun for perch, you know. Mr. Twister nymphs. You got orange guys there, half orange, half black. And then there's some that are pure black. Yeah, so I don't have any plastic minnows, unfortunately. So check out this. Sorry for all the creaking. You probably have to power zoom in. Yeah, I'm sure you can't see it. It's it's one of those double-bladed military helicopters. You know, I was casting a blade bait from my shore and I got it caught like 15 feet from the rocks. So that was pretty fun. I think I saw it from the boat the other day, so I'm gonna hopefully retrieve it. My brother likes the Gulp Alive leeches. He likes using those on a worm harness. Sorry, I ran out of breath there for a second. We're getting a pretty solid drift going on here. It's like that bobber's making a wake. So it's definitely worth drifting. Yeah, I might entirely just switch to just my other rod with just a jig or whatever, and possibly a Slurpee like David's suggesting here, with the worm dangling out the back. There's another guy's house that's directly behind me where I'm like, okay, this is where there's like one single hill in this whole neighborhood, and this is where the hill is out here. We'll see if we might not be close enough to shore to see it. Looks like the bottom's got some boulders on it. I can show you guys the fish finder at the boat. I'm not sure what you guys can see. That's my bag where I got my worms in. So there's some activity on there. You don't like the slip floats, man? I thought they were pretty cool. I don't use them all the time, but I like them. Whereabouts were you fishing fish 705 when you caught that 18-inch white bass? I mean, you don't have to tell me your honey hole, but so I've heard word that this time of year you get them in the rivers and whatnot. I don't know, you know, maybe I'll check it out, because I know they run in the rivers and stuff like that. So you know, I saw some pretty wild splashing around earlier today, and I wasn't really too sure what I was looking at. I suspect it was probably, you know, some fish doing their thing, but it was a pretty big splash. But who knows? I know there are like sturgeon, and I think somewhere I have a video that features some big fish jumping out of the water just in the background of the video. I hope I didn't delete that video, because it's pretty sweet. Oops. Just got some natural jigging action going on here. Caused by waves. Yeah, I've read lots of articles about white bass, people getting like really sore arms because they're catching so many of them. So I definitely like to get in on when that goes down. If it goes down around here. Yeah, I do find that the herring tend to be really big in Nipissing compared to, say, Simcoe. Because a lot of the herring I see caught by dudes on Simcoe, I'm just like, oh, it's like a, you know, it's like the kind of herrings you get in a can. Whereas the herrings we catch up here, I'm just like, wow, this is a pretty big herring. Oh. Oh, I think I just got a bite. Come on. Probably stole my worm is what happened. Worm's still there. Okay, so I'm still gonna rock this bobber for a little bit. You guys ever have your legs sitting funny in the canoe and then you realize you can't feel your toes anymore? That happened to me just now. Sounds like a dog's going swimming somewhere. All right, I'm gonna try switching it up. Gonna put on sorry guys, slight delay in the game here. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to not tip my canoe. In Scouts, we used to practice tipping our canoe and how to get back in. So far out here, I've been pretty good without getting into a pickle. Seen a few waves, but we're usually quite cautious about it. Okay, so oops. I'm gonna put on a Slurpee and a worm combo, like Dave suggested here. All right. This is this kind of rig you're talking about there, Dave. We got a Slurpee, we got a worm, and we're about to reel up the other rig. Let's see what we can do. So, thinking we're gonna jig this, or are we going to cast it? Let's see how she casts. I think I'm gonna have to canoe us around to this. Somebody's putting rock and roll on. Guess it's hip hop actually. All right, so here's what's gonna go down. I'm gonna paddle a bit back towards where the mound is around here. And then I'm gonna sit on there with this rig and jig it. I also want to be a little bit closer because I think my wife should be home with the boys soon, and I'm sure he'd be pretty psyched to see me out here. Oops. Wow. Well, that was probably as close as I've ever had to having my phone go directly in the lake. Guess it pays to have a good phone mount, I'll tell you. That just saved me some bones. Probably gonna rock this live stream for another 15 minutes or so. That's what I usually used to do. And then I probably should see what's going on. Nice if I caught a fish, you know. But I'm actually quite thrilled just to be out here. I've been a little bit spoiled with this trolling motor that I've had for the last while. Oop. Sorry. My fish finder fell off there. I have this suction cup gizmo holding it on. It used to be really good, but then I scratched my canoe up real good, and now the suction cup only sticks to it every once in a while for a little bit. You guys spooked about spiders? See if you are. You got bad news. I just saw a big one in my canoe. I personally find spiders pretty cool, so it doesn't bother me any. My wife would spook hard though, I can tell you that. You know, Dave, I actually have this gizmo that is specifically made to mount a transducer to. And I actually preferred it, or pardon me, I preferred the suction cup to it until this started happening. So luckily I have that gizmo. I can get into my shed and start using that, I guess, now. Yes, my dad bought me that gizmo. He's like, you're gonna need this. You want that suction cup. Okay, so we're looking at getting pretty close to this little hill here. So I'm just gonna drift around and just cast around. It looks like we're marking some fish here. It's about 10 feet. Yeah, so there's some turf. Just trying to make it so that we can blow over this thing without like in a good way, I mean. So I'll paddle us to where the hill starts and then drift over. So the black flies and the mosquitoes have started. I'm sure you guys are pretty stoked for that. There was a couple days where they were just buzzing around your head and not actually biting. But now they've started biting, so I got the bug suit out today. Here we go. Alright, so we're at the top of this hill. Bottom of the hill, I mean. We're gonna drift over it. Jigging this combo. Just adjusting stuff here. Sorry, I probably missed. All right, so 14 feet here. Approaching this hill. Get a little bouncy out here. Trying to keep an eye on these waters out here. If you look out past a bit, like it's getting a little wavier here. If you look out past maybe a kilometer away, there's some sort of rippling in the water that might be of concern. So I might have to start thinking about getting home. This breeze has got us going pretty good. Pretty sure I had a little bite there. So I'm starting to think I should probably roll here. Worm is still intact. Although slightly chewed, I would say. All right, I'm gonna start making motions back towards my house, which also happens to cross over that hill we just went over. It was a pretty light bite, but I definitely felt some kind of weight there. I think don't really want to be caught out in a pickle, so I'm quite close to home right now, but it's gonna get me in a good position for bouncing out of the water when I need to. Just about inhaled a black fly there. Guess he was lucky enough. He went into my mouth and came out of my mouth before he got stuck. Good for him, good for me. This is the view across the lake here. You know, the air is nice and fresh out here. I'm quite glad I came out, even though I haven't seemed to have seen too much action. Fish finder there, if you can see it. There's definitely a fish down there, about 8 feet. Yeah, I mean, I've usually heard that they do spawn in the rocks along this shore, and I have been trying a little deep. So usually this time of year is pretty well known to me, I guess, as they're having, or the fish being pretty shallow along the shore here. So let's see what's going on closer to shore. Getting into about 12 feet of water here. So Calendar Bay should be this way from where I am. North Bay right now is to my right. That's it over there. Getting to about 8 feet of water. Yeah, there's that scent of all the buds and everything in the air. Springtime smells, I tell you. So I'm going to do a few casts around here, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So do a little bit of casting here. Here we go. Casting out to about 8 feet. And do one more cast, and then I better head her in, see what's going down for dinner here. I've definitely seen the black flies worse than they are right now. But I bet you, yeah, next week into June is going to be brutal. It's that moment when you have both the black flies and the mosquitoes together. Personally, I'd rather have black flies. They're pretty easy to not get bitten by. Mosquitoes, though, they got that needle. That's how they get you. All right, one more cast, okay? Oh, I lost my worm. All right, I better pack it in. Well, folks, maybe now is not the hour. Maybe they're coming in later. But I do know along these rocks here in the spring can be pretty awesome sometimes. Just not every day, like today. All right, folks. Well, this this live stream's been fun. You know, maybe I'll try to plan some more in the future and not be just on a whim. I'll try to let people know when they're coming. And for any of you guys who are watching this in your basement 5 days after I filmed it, you know, I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you guys next time.